Good morning. We are continuing the lesson training in sports. So we have discussed the principles of sports training in previous video. Now we are discussing about the warming up and limbering down. So meaning of warming up. It is a short duration activity performed prior to training session or any competition. So warming up is to warm up the body temperature by various simple exercises that are performed to do an activity in the most efficient manner. Warming up is a short term activity and it prepares the sports person physically, mentally, and physiologically for any type of training or competition. Proper warm up like jogging, running, and some free hand exercises enable the muscles to respond efficiently. This preparation before training or competition is known as warming up. Warming up is defined so many ways, but the main thing that is it is the process of getting warm and increasing the body temperature, especially temperature at the site of the muscle, slightly before any competition. It helps the sports person to prepare physically, mentally, physiologically for training sessions or competition. Muscles become ready to perform efficiently, like running, jogging, and hand exercises, etc. So, why we should do the warm up and cooling down? We will see here. So, warming up and cooling down. Why we should be warm and we should be cool? We should do cool down exercises. So, warming up it improves the performance while exercising the cooling down exercises. They helps for blood circulation, proper blood circulation. Warming up less risk of injuries. It reduces the chances of injuries when we are performing warming up exercises. Warming up exercises prepares heart rate for exercise. So things like dynamic stretching, 5 to 10 minute jogging. Cooling down is reduce the muscle soreness, allow heart rate to return to the resting state and to the normal. And these are like the static stretching and 5 to 10 minute walk. These are the cooling down exercises. We will discuss both in detail. So, warming up, the definition of warming up. Warming up is done to tone up the body so as to meet answering activity. Consists of series of preparatory exercises either before a training session or competitions. A preliminary exercises of physical and mental preparation for a strenuous exertion. It increases temperature of blood and muscles to improve the performance. So, warming up is of two types: passive warming up and active warming up. Basically, it is of two types. So, passive we will discuss here. The passive warming up, its aim to increase the body temperature without performing any physical activity. Body temperature is increased by the external means such as wearing warm clothes, massage, hot water, steam bath, sunlight, or hot drinks, etc. Mixture of active and passive warm up provides better results. So the passive warming up is especially these are the warm up in which we are increasing the body temperature by any external means, by wearing clothes, and these means we are using like massage therapy, hot water therapy, steam therapy, sunlight, or hot drinks or beverages. Advantage of passive means to warm up is that energy is not exhaust in the warm up activity. However, for the best result, it is recommended that passive warming up can be used in combination with active warming up. So then we will see the active warming up. Passive we have understood, we are using any external means for getting body warm. Active warming up, sport person perform many physical activities for warming the body. Body temperature increased up to required level. Working efficiency is increased. Muscles are toned up. Further, it is divided in general and specific warming up. So, active warming up, we understand in which sport person take part in physical activity. These activities increase the working efficiency and also the muscles are toned up. The body temperature increased up to the required level. Jogging, stretching are included in this type of warming up. Active warming up is divided in two parts, general warming up and specific warming up. So, what is general warming up? We will discuss here. So, general warming up, it is the general warming up is usually performed in all type of activities. This is common for all. This type of warming up includes jogging, running, jumping, stretching, calisthenics, starting, wind sprint, and other general exercises. It increased coordinative abilities and flexibility of muscles and joint. It also improves muscle tone. The duration of the general warming up depends upon the nature of work to be performed. So it is performed in all type of activities. It is because it is common for all the activities. That's why it is known as general warming up. It can be performed before any competition, any physical activity. Include jogging, jumping, stretching, etc. Increase coordination abilities and flexibilities of the muscle and joint. Improves muscle tone. And duration depends upon the nature of work to be performed. So, the specific warming up we will discuss now. Specific warming up, as by name we can understand, these kind of warming up exercises or activities are specific for specific sports. Exercises are done with implements. Special exercises are performed with have direct relationship with the activity to be performed after general warming up, because for specific warming up we need to perform the general warming up first. Main stress is laid down on the practice of various skills to perform in the game, because different games and different sports have the different kind of specific warming up exercises. So, like one example we can give here, then badminton, like we have the court crafting, tossing the shuttle, zigzag run. So there are various type of specific type of exercises, warm up exercises for specific kind of activities. So different sports have different specific warming up exercises. So that is known as the specific warming up exercises. Specific warming up exercises for the badminton that we have discussed, you can see here, like badminton, forward, sideways and backward bending, body twisting exercises, and court crafting, tossing the shuttle, basketball. Specific warming up exercises are there, like dribbling, shooting, layup shot, shuttle run, dodging, and free throw, tennis, wall practice, service, passing shots, knocking. Like shot put, we have shifting the shot from left hand to right, vice versa, standing throws, gliding practice. Like in hockey, we have dribbling, rotation of stick, short passes, long passes, scoop. Cricket we have like bowling, catching, batting, and fielding. So specific type of warming up exercises for specific activities. So method of warming up, how we should do the warming up. We will see first general warming up, general methods. So especially general warming up is performed by jogging, simple exercises, stretching exercises, wind sprint, a form of exercise involving moving from a walk or slow run to a faster run and repeatedly reversing the process. We will see then starting, that is walk with long step in a specific direction. So next we will see that method of warming up, passive methods like warming up with warm water bath for swimming, synchronized swimming, water polo, etc. Warm up through massage, that is used by wrestlers, cure minor muscle injuries also. So passive warming up is done by drinking hot drinks, hot tea, coffee, warm up through sun bath, warm up through steam bath. So there are importance of warming up. It increases the body temperature, definitely, because that helps us to perform the activities during the competition smoothly. It decreases the viscosity of muscles. It increases the speed of nerve impulse. It decreases the resistance in the muscles capillaries. Warming up helps to increase the speed of transfer of oxygen and fuel to the tissues. Warming up helps to increase metabolic rate. It reduces anxiety and tension. Another importance we will see, it enhances cooling efficiency. It reduces the blood lactic acid that mostly during the activity the lactic acid is secreted to the side of the muscles to stop the work. It makes the muscles rigid. So it reduces the blood lactic acid to delay the tiredness. Warming up helps to avoid the injuries. We can prevent ourselves from various sports injuries. Increase the speed of muscles. Warming up helps to increase flexibility. Warming up helps to increase the strength and endurance. There is a list of the importance of the warming up, because that's why the warming up is very important. Warming up increase explosive power. It improves the specific skills. Like if you are performing specific warming up exercises, warming up helps to improve neuromuscular coordination. It helps to improve the level of performance. Warming up helps to decrease the reaction time by which we can perform any action very quickly without delay of time. It brings the second wind more readily. Second wind is the situation when the body feel the signs of tiredness and which is delayed by the lactic acid tolerance power of the muscle. So that is known as the second wind. At the peak of the activity, sometime the muscles are getting tired due to the lactic acid secretion. So the lactic acid secretion is tolerated by the help of the warming up. So it delay the tiredness. Physiological basis of the warming up. Physiological basis of the warming up we will discuss here. Increased body temperature, increased body muscles temperature, body and muscle temperature. Research show that warm up muscles improve performance, and the muscles which are warm up properly, they work smoothly and easily. Speed of muscle contract and relax is increased due to warm up. Force of contraction is increased. It reduces the risk of tearing of the muscle fiber. So that we have discussed in previous slide also, that it helps to avoid the muscle injuries or injury, any kind of sports injury. Next, we will see physiological basis of warming up. Decrease the viscosity of muscles. When an inactive muscle is stimulated repeatedly, first few contractions are small and irregular, and relaxation is incomplete. So that's why the viscosity should be decreased. Later contraction are regular and relaxation is complete. Rate of muscular contraction and relaxation becomes faster and efficient due to decreased viscosity. Risk of wear and tear of muscles and ligament is reduced. So this is about the decreased viscosity of the muscle. Next we will see here another physiological basis of the warming up, that increase the speed of nerve impulse. Increases the speed of nerve impulse, which improves the sharpen the reaction time of the sports person. Nerves, the importance of nerves, we know that the nerves send messages and to the brain and brings the message from the brain to the site of the body. Another one, decreases the resistance in muscle capillaries. Research studies have revealed that warming up decreases the resistance in the muscles capillaries. Another we will discuss here. Then the next physiological benefit we will discuss here. Fifth, increase the speed of transfer of oxygen and fuel to the tissues. It helps to quickly supply the oxygen to the muscles and tissues to work smoothly. It occurs due to enhancement of blood flow through the muscles by dilating small blood vessels. It increases the metabolic rate. Increased metabolic rate enhance energy level. Production of energy increased. If body temperature increased by 0.5 degrees centigrade, metabolic rate increased by the 7%. So metabolic rate will help us to increase the production of the energy in the body. It reduces the blood lactic acid, heart rate consumption. Heart rate and consumption of oxygen is directly related to the muscle temperature. At higher temperature, lactic acid is reduced. It is diluted and it is secretion of the lactic acid is reduced. Increase in working capacity. Due to physiological adaptation, capacity to do physical activity is increased. All systems of the body become efficient to do their related work. So this is next we will see here the guiding principle of warming up, how we should do the warming up. Warming up should be performed simple to complex. Easiest warming up exercises, simple warming up exercises should be performed at first. That is also known as the general to specific. Exercise for all the parts of the body should be done. Stretching and loosening exercises should be included. Intensive enough to increase body temperature. Warming up should be according to age and sex, age and gender. Warming up should be according to the activity or the sports. Concerned movement of the game should be included, as we have discussed in specific warming up exercises. We involve the certain movements of the activity or the sports in the warming up exercises. Warming up should be done at exact time. Next, we will discuss here meaning of limbering down. This is known as also cooling down exercises. Cooling down exercises done after the warming up. So this is cooling down, warming down after a competition. Allow the body to transition gradually from an exertional state to the resting state, because during the activity body muscles are performing the activity. So from the activity they have a lot of exertion. From that state they are coming to the rest state. So we are performing gradually, we are bringing them to the rest. So necessary activities after training, they are very necessary. Cooling down exercises, it involves a specific procedure to bring the body to the normal state. Walking or jogging for 5 to 10 minutes and static exercises 5 to 10 minutes are basically performed as limbering down. Static stretching exercises for limbering down for the muscles, especially hamstring, chest muscles, gluteus muscles, quadriceps, triceps and shoulders. And importance of limbering down. Body temperature becomes normal. Proper removal of waste product from the body, because it helps in the form of sweating. The body waste is removed from the body properly. Decrease in muscle tension. It reduces the chances of dizziness and of fainting. Limbering down helps to supply the proper oxygen to the different parts of the body. Limbering down decrease in the level of adrenaline in the blood. Muscles do not remain stiff and heart rate return to the normal state or initial stage. Then we will see here the another topic, that is the load. Meaning of load. Load, adaptation and recovery. Meaning of load. In the field of sports, load is known as training load. Work or exercise a sports person perform in a training session. It includes physiological, psychological demands put on the sports person to maintain or improve performance capacity. Load is also known as tackling the training demand. It is the process of tackling the training demand. That is the load. Then we will discuss it. Meaning of adaptation. We will see here. Adaptation is the ability of adjustment. The process of long-term adjustment to a specific stimulus, a specific situation, is known as adaptation. When new load is put on the body, it reacts by increasing its ability to cope with new load. Body requires 4 to 6 weeks to a training method. Adaptation, that's why this is because of adaptation. Adaptation occurs during the recovery period after the training session is completed. So adaptation means the adjustment ability of the body to the stimulus or to the situation. And then meaning of recovery. Recovery is, it is the regain the strength which was lost during training session or during the competition. Essential part after training session. Recovery is very important. Each after activity and each after training program, it helps us to regain the initial stage So that's why the recovery is also very important. The process of stimulus recovery, stimulus recovery and adaptation, we will discuss here. Body adapt to load that are higher than the demand or normal daily activity. Process of recovery and adaptation returns the body to an improved level. Overcompensation. Training load must be increased gradually to allow the body to adapt and to avoid injury. So that is, the stimulus is there, and then there will be fatigue, low overload, compensation is there, and overcompensation is there when we are increasing it more. So the basic level is the fitness. If the person is fit, so then there will be the ability to sustain the fatigue or the load. So then the person can work for continuously till the completion of the action or the activity. If the load is not enough or a little, not enough, a little compensation is there. If the load is too much, difficulty in recovery, and a sport person may not return to previous level of fitness. So higher load always, it is difficult in recovery period also, and it helps, and it's difficult to get recover quickly. In case of normal load, there is little compensation is there, so that's why person get recover quickly. The load is again, there is three type of load is there. That the load is measured by the oxygen, that is intake of oxygen. When the oxygen intake is sufficient, then that is the normal load. When the oxygen intake is insufficient, that is known as overload. So we always measure the load, because sometimes the load is in the form of the weight, but sometimes the load is not only in the form of the weight, it may be psychological. So we have divided the load in three categories. First one is crest load, CREST, crest load. Then another is optimum load, and another is, third one is overload. So crest load, there is the oxygen intake is normal. Optimum load, when the oxygen intake is sufficient, means more than normal. According to the body demand, the load is, the body is demanding the oxygen, and body is able to provide sufficient amount of oxygen according to the demand of the body. And then we have the overload. Overload, when there is the very less oxygen, so insufficient oxygen, that is known as overload. So we will discuss now the skill, techniques and styles. Ability to perform a whole movement is known as skill. Automatization of motor action. Level of effectiveness with which a movement or motor action can be performed. Any action learned for a purpose and is needed to take part in activity, that is known as the skill. Skill is also known as, it is the ability to learn any movement or learn any action for a purpose, and it is required to take part in an activity. Skill are the motor skills are especially that denote the level of effectiveness with which the movement can be performed. So skills are there. There are open skills, closed skills, simple skills, and complex skills. So various skills are like shooting in basketball, service in tennis, overhead kick in football. So skill we can understand. So there are the skills are there, different type of skills. Open skill, closed skill, simple skill, complex skill, gross skill, and fine skill. Classification of skills is discrete skills, serial skills, continuous skills, individual skills, and coactive skills and interactive skills. So these are the variety of skills are there according to the movement. So skill means that is the perfection of the any movement. How we are being perfect on any kind of movement. We will see now techniques. What is the technique? The basic movement of any sports or event, the way of performing the skill, the technique is known as the way of performing the skill. A skill can be performed by using more than one technique. A technique involves scientific and economical methods adapted to achieve top performance. Selection of technique by a sports person, it should the level of the player, enhance player's performance best at the given time and within the rules. So we will see next then the meaning of style. So technique we understand. Technique is that is in the way of performing the skill is known as technique. Now we will see the meaning of style. The individual express this is the expression of the technique in motor action. Means the way we express the technique is in motor action is known as the style. A sport person due to a specific psychic, physical and biological capacities realize the technique in a unique personal way. It is called his or her style. That is the expression of the techniques in motor action. Motor action means movement. So now we will discuss about the symptoms of overload and how to overcome it. Overload is a state when an athlete is undergoing hard as well as strenuous training without adequate recovery. Overload is a state of decreased performance capacity. Overload occurs for longer period. And overload is, if it is not followed by the rules and by the according to the principle of the training, then it is harmful. But if it is according to the principle of the training, then it is definitely beneficial. Symptoms of overload we will discuss here. Physiological, psychological symptoms. First we will discuss increased irritability and obstinacy, increased quarrelsome behavior, avoidance with the coach and fellow sports person, oversensitivity to criticism, increased indolence, dullness, and hallucination. These are the psychological symptoms. Another psychological symptoms like anxiety, depression, melancholy, insecurity, change in personality, low level of self esteem and motivation to work out, easily distracted during the tasks. Performance related symptoms we will see here of the overload: movement coordination, disturbance in rhythm and flow of movement, reduced power of correction and differentiation, difficulty of concentration, tense movement, reoccurrence of the previous error, the same type of mistake are repeatedly being repeated, increased susceptibility to technical error, means the technical error, the person is not coming out from the technical error. Competitive qualities, another one, performance related symptom we can see. Decrease in the readiness for competition, fear of competition, giving up in the face of intricate situation, especially at the end. Confusion in competitions, increased tendency to abandon the struggle. So the symptoms of overload we will see here then next. Performance related symptoms, that is somatic functional symptoms: loss of sleep, lack of appetite, loss of body weight, disturbance in digestion, increase in time required for recovery of pulse, frequent dizziness, night sweating, increased frequency of respiration, joint ache and pain, impaired muscular strength. How to overcome overload? Next, we will discuss the symptoms. We have discussed a lot of symptoms. How to overcome the overload? Plan the training. Coach and athlete should plan strategy, break in training to allow proper recovery, loading in training programs by reducing volume of intensity of the training, split the program to work on different set of muscle on different days, time and session, ensure adequate recovery before exposing to subsequent loading. Nutrition should be there. Adequate nutrition is mandatory for appropriate recovery. Sports drink in suitable quantity, rich in carbohydrate, minerals, and vitamins should be taken during and after exercise. For short duration training, water can be taken. For longer training duration, glucose solutions are required. Meal timing should be fixed. This is the way we take nutrition to overcome the overload. Psychological strategies we have to make: relaxation timing and imagery, autogenic training, help in maintaining focus during competition, relieving tension and recovery process. Meditation is beneficial for including sleep. Social interaction helps in diversion from the rigorous training. Medical aids we need sometime. So medical aids like valuable tools, various massages, wax bath, cryotherapy, hydrotherapy, electrotherapy, hot and cold water bath. Physical therapies are given like slow stretching exercises, warm up, cooling down, and swimming. So, this is all about the chapter training and sports. So, we will come with the next chapter, the next video.